Good morning, students. Today we will start with the next part of lesson number 5, that is morphology of flowering plants. Today we will learn about the inflorescence. A flower is considered as a modified shoot. It is a part of shoot system and it is considered as a modified shoot because shoot apical meristem changes to floral meristem. Internodes get condensed. Last time we have seen that node is the part from where the leaf comes out and internode is the part in between the two nodes. So the distance between two nodes gets reduced, that is internode gets condensed. Different floral appendages are produced laterally at successive nodes instead of leaves. Here, as it is a reproductive part, it is a flower. Here on this shoot, at the nodes, the leaves are not formed. Instead of that, other floral appendages are produced. So, flower is a modified shoot. Now, let us see what is meant by inflorescence. The arrangement of flowers on floral axis is called as inflorescence. Two types of inflorescences are seen. Racemose type. In this, the main axis grows indefinitely, giving rise to younger flowers in acropetal order. In the diagram, you can see that this is the main axis. This goes on growing indefinitely and it produces younger flowers in acropetal succession. Acropetal succession means the flower which is at the lower end. This is the older flower. Then the younger ones are formed at the tip, towards the tip, and the older flowers are from the basal part. So this type of arrangement is called as acropetal succession or acropetal order. So in racemose, main axis grows indefinitely, giving rise to younger flowers in acropetal order. Whereas cymose type of inflorescence, in this the apical bud is a flower and younger flowers are born below it in a basipetal manner. See in this diagram, this is the main axis, this is the apical flower, this is here the growth of the axis stops, this is the flower at the apical bud, then the another flowers, the younger flowers develop below this. Here you can see second, then third, then fourth. That way the other flowers are born below this level. So that is why it is called as basipetal manner. In acropetal manner, the younger flowers are produced above the older flowers, and here in basipetal manner, this is the apical bud which is converted into a flower and the younger flowers are produced below that level. That type is called as cymose type of inflorescence. Now let us see the structure of a typical flower. A flower is the reproductive unit in angiosperms. A typical flower has 4 whorls arranged on swollen end of pedicel called thalamus or receptacle. So in the diagram you can see that this is the stalk-like structure, that is pedicel, and this swollen part at the end of this stalk-like structure, this structure is receptacle or it is also called as thalamus. Now it has 2 whorls, calyx and corolla. So this sepals, green sepals, that is called as, this whorl is calyx, and the petals which form the next whorl, that is called as corolla. So calyx and corolla, these are accessory whorls. Accessory means they are not directly involved in the reproduction, but they help the process. So they are called as accessory whorls. Androecium and gynoecium are reproductive whorls. So here these stamen, then the ovary, style stigma, this carpel structure, this part is the female reproductive part. A flower having both androecium and gynoecium, such a flower is called as bisexual flower, whereas a flower having either only stamens or only carpels is called unisexual flowers. There are different types of flowers. Let us see types of flower based on symmetry. First type, it is called as actinomorphic. When a flower can be divided into two equal radial halves in any radial plane passing through the center, then that is called as actinomorphic flower, and the examples are mustard, datura and chili. In this actinomorphic flower, you can see these are different planes, radial planes. This circular flower, if you consider, this becomes the radius. So these are the radial planes, and in any of these plane, if you cut the flower, it is divided into two equal halves, and such flower is called as actinomorphic flower. The example is datura, chili or mustard. The another type is zygomorphic flower. When a flower can be divided into two equal halves only in one particular vertical plane, not in any other plane, but only one vertical plane, you can divide it into two equal halves, then that is zygomorphic, and the examples are pea, bean, gulmohar, cassia. See this diagram. This is only one plane, which is vertical plane, in which the flower can be divided into two equal halves. There is no any radial or transverse plane which can divide it into two equal halves. Only one vertical plane is there. This is zygomorphic flower. The third type is asymmetry. As the name indicates, the flower cannot be divided into two equal halves by any vertical plane, and the example is canna flower. The another classification or types of flowers are based on position of calyx, corolla and androecium with respect to the ovary on thalamus. Thalamus, as we have seen, it is the swollen part of the stalk. The first type is called as hypogynous flower. In this, gynoecium occupies highest position, and the ovary is called as superior ovary. See here the first diagram. This is the thalamus or receptacle, and on this thalamus the ovary is showing the superior position. Other parts, that is the calyx, corolla and androecium, these are below the ovary. Ovary is superior. So such a flower is called as hypogynous flower. The second type is perigynous flower. In this case, gynoecium at the center and other parts are located at the rim of the thalamus. The ovary is considered as half inferior ovary, and the examples are plum, peach and rose. In this diagram, you can see two different flowers are shown. Here, this is the thalamus. This thalamus has this sepals and these petals. These sepals and petals, even the stamen, they are at the rim of the thalamus. And here also you can see this is the thalamus part, and the sepals, petals and stamen, they are at the rim of the thalamus, and the ovary is not exactly superior also, not inferior also. So this is considered as half inferior ovary. The third type is epigynous. This is just opposite to hypogynous. In this, the margin of thalamus grows upwards and encloses ovary completely. In this diagram, you can see this is the green side part. This is the thalamus. This thalamus is growing upward and enclosing this ovary, where you can see this yellow ovules and this placenta. This structure is ovary. This structure is completely enclosed by the structure thalamus, and that is why the ovary is called as inferior ovary, because the sepals, petals, stamens are from the above the ovary. They are not here, they are below the ovary. Here all the three, they are above the ovary and ovary is below. So that is why inferior ovary it is called, and such structure you see in the flowers of guava, cucumber. The next part is related to estivation. Estivation is nothing but arrangement of sepals and petals in floral bud. Now, this can be, sepals are the units of the calyx. When these sepals are united, that is called as gamosepalous. Sometimes the sepals may be free. That time it is called as polysepalous. On the similar lines, it is for corolla. Gamopetalous means when the petals are united, and polypetalous means when the petals are free. Now, these sepals and petals are arranged in a particular way when the flower is in bud condition. So, that we are going to see in this. The first type is called as velvet. In this, the members in the whorl just touch one another at the margin without overlapping. That means sepals or petals touch each other but do not overlap. See the first diagram, this diagram here, these structures, they show the petals, suppose. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 members are there, and they are just touching each other at the margin but not overlapping. So this is velvet type of estivation. It is seen in Calotropis. The second one, it is called as twisted, where one margin overlaps that of the next one, and so on. See this? Here this is one petal, suppose. In this one margin, one end is overlapped by the another petal, and this end is overlapping the other petal. So here one end is overlapping, the other end is overlapped. Same way for this also, you can see this is outside, the other end is inside, which is overlapped by this. In this also the same way, one end is outside, one end is inside. So this way when the arrangement is there, that is called as twisted, and such arrangement is seen in China rose and cotton. The third one is imbricate. When one member is completely inside and the other one is completely outside. See, in this diagram, here this member, maybe sepal or petal, both the ends are inside. So this member is completely inside, whereas one member, this one you can see, this is completely outside, and the other members are having one end inside, other outside. One end inside, other is outside, that way. So this is typically in imbricate, one member is completely inside and one member is completely outside. That is imbricate, and that is seen in cassia and gulmohar. The fourth type is called as vexillary. In this, the one largest member, that is petal, which is called as standard, it overlaps the two lateral wings. In this diagram, you can see this is the one bigger, that is the largest, that is called as standard. It overlaps these two on sides, that is why they are called as laterals, which in turn, and this laterals in turn overlap the two small ones, they are called as keel. So this particular arrangement, one standard which overlaps the two laterals, and this in turn overlaps the keel, this type of arrangement is called as vexillary, and the flowers are seen in pea and bean. So this was all about the inflorescence. Thank you.